Welcome everyone back to Old Man Wisdom. We're here on a Sunday evening. It's the 30th of January 2022. We're going to do this Sunday edition and we're going to look at three different currency pairs. We're going to look at AUD USD, we're going to look at usdjpy, and we're going to briefly touch on Bitcoin as well, if that interests you at all. So firstly then, AUD USD. We're looking on the H4 time frame. And we'll just zoom up here a little bit. You'll see since about the middle of January it's been in a downward trend, and we're really looking for a pullback before we continue to sell. We may as well go with the trend and see if we can catch some pips along the way. So this is the 4-hour chart, and the question is, where do we enter the sell at the most effective place? So you'll see here that this is where it broke the previous low, and this would be the obvious place for the pullback to go. This certainly happened the last time. Look, it pulled back to the previous low here, and then it sold off. We could expect the same again, but the other way to do it is to pick an effective place where we could enter and just risk a small amount in order to pinpoint a really good place to sell off the AUD USD. So what we're going to do is, we've established the downtrend from the 4-hour chart, and now we're going to flick over to the 15-minute chart. So here's the 15-minute chart, and you'll see that this is like a micro view of this currency pair. And here is the previous low that got broken. And this is where we might expect the opportunity to sell might be in this area. So we want to see price continue moving up to this area here, and if we put the stop just above this previous high, we're looking at about 25 pips. We would certainly target this low area, so we're looking at making, let's say, 55 pips, so it's just over a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. So not too bad. Certainly once it gets to around 20 pips in profit, we want to set to break even and even take partial profits. We could even let it run even further if that's what we wanted to do. But as we scroll out, you'll see that there's no real low here apart from the previous one. So that would be the logical area to aim for. We could by all means go lower and just let it run to even a 1-to-4 risk reward ratio. Once we've took partial profits or set to break even, you can of course let it run as far as you like. But certainly to the previous low, we're looking at 55 to 60 pips in profit. So not too bad, and of course we're risking a very little amount of pips. So it's a possibility and an opportunity that you might look out for when the markets open later today on Sunday evening here in the UK. So that's the first opportunity there. The AUD USD. Secondly, the USD JPY. On the H4, although we see here there was a downtrend, it has broken the previous high. So we might consider now that there's been a reversal and that we could look for a buy opportunity based on the H4 time frame. If we flick down to the 15 minutes, what are we looking for? Well, this is the previous low here. It's broken the high and it's made a pullback already to the previous low. So it's already at the point where we could look at buying. If you was to open a buy here, again we would be looking at risking maybe just 20 pips in order to make around about 45 pips. So just over a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. Personally, it's nicer to have bigger rewards, and in all honesty, you'll see here that this high here, if we was to come back to this high, it would be quite a significant area where we might want to take profit. So we're risking 20 pips to make 45. I think, you know, that's reasonable. It's been in a kind of uptrend based on the 4-hour chart, and there's no reason why that couldn't continue. Of course, no one knows what the markets will do. It could easily stop us out. But by giving ourselves a little bit of wiggle room, we're going to aim for 45 pip profit at a risk of just 20 pips here on the USD JPY. So let's go over to the final chart, which is Bitcoin. Now again, Bitcoin has been dropping since December. In fact, even before December, it's been dropping for quite some time. If we scroll back, you'll see that it's been in a downtrend even since November. So in many ways, there's no reason why that wouldn't continue to drop for Bitcoin. We'll see here that it's recently come down, pulled back, and we're waiting to see if it breaks this previous low in order to continue the downtrend. If we flick over to the 15-minute chart, you'll see that again on a micro chart, so a smaller time frame, we see a small uptrend here, but of course overall it's a downtrend. So where is the opportunity to sell? Well, ultimately what we want to do is we want to see this little tiny micro trend change. So we want it to break this previous low, and then we want to see it pull back to this area here. And it's at this point that we would consider selling. So potentially we're going to have a stop loss just above our zone here. And we're looking at a 1-to-3 risk-reward ratio. It could go a lot further. It just depends how brave you are at holding the trade. We're risking a fair bit of pips and money. Again, it depends what your risk tolerance is, but potentially Bitcoin could produce quite a lot of profit if it continues on this downtrend that it's been in since about November. Will it happen? Well, of course, we don't know. But the key to trading successfully is to have quite a small risk and a large reward. A 1-to-2 is minimum. Ideally, you'd have a 1-to-6, 1-to-7 risk-reward ratio. But a 1-to-2, and in this case a 1-to-3 risk-reward, is absolutely fine. And so that's what we're looking for. A break of the previous low and then a pullback to this zone in order to sell Bitcoin. So that's it really. That's covered the AUD USD, that's covered USD JPY, and it's covered Bitcoin. So if this video has had any benefit to you at all, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, then please do so. Until the next time, everyone take care, and I'll speak to you very soon.